Well, it's going to be exciting to go down in that shaft and actually do some digging. Maybe being part of unearthing an original tunnel would be incredibly gratifying. All kinds of thoughts are streaming through my head. I mean, you can't help it. This is an exciting moment. Ready? We're going to go down deep into the garden shaft. Big Brother and I are all set. Let's go. My brother and I are going to be miners, and our heritage is mining. From stumbling across what could prove to be a chamber that could bring their search for treasure on this strange island to an end, to the discovery of traces of gold and silver that could lead them to that coveted treasure. Here's how the Lagina brothers made their biggest discovery yet. Maybe it could lead them to the lost treasure of Oak Island. After years of following their childhood dream of discovering the mysterious treasure of Oak Island, it seems as though the Lagina brothers are finally on the cusp of coming across that long-sought-after treasure. This was due to the fact that they came across this strange hole located within close proximity to an old shipyard garden, on what proved to be the last days of their search before winter forced them to return home. Some of us may turn our heads away from such a place, but to the Curse of Oak Island crew, this was a place that looked as though treasure had been stashed away long ago. Well, here's the deal, Rick. You could be standing a couple of feet above the tunnel we've been looking for at least 2 years, right there. Okay, well, let's get busy. How do you work this thing? As much as they were hoping for treasure, the team was really excited about coming across this spot, because they felt that there was a chance they could come across a secret chamber or vault. If they could find such a place, there was every chance that the rumors of treasure on this island were true. You can imagine how excited the team was when they got a whiff of a draft that came up from this spot. Who knows what they could find down there? Adding to the excitement, across the island, Dr. Ian Spooner and Dr. Fred Michael were working through the discovery of strange bits of metal found in the soil in that area. Could this be an indication of treasure? Or something even rarer and more valuable than gold? They didn't have all the answers yet, but they were sure excited about what was to come. They just had to make sure they uncovered their discoveries before winter brought their operations to an end for the year. With that in mind, the Curse of Oak Island team got to work on their search for the treasure of this mysterious island. As they dug deeper, it became clear that this was about more than just finding valuable treasure. It was about creating a legacy, about being the ones who succeeded where so many others had failed for over 200 years. As they kept digging, the anticipation in the air was thick. This could be the day they actually discovered the mysterious treasure of Oak Island. This is a non-ferrous target. This could be gold, it could be silver, it could be copper. Either way, it's a great-sounding signal. For many years, they had battled the island's conditions, only to leave with disappointment when the winter months finally arrived. Maybe this time would be different. As the work continued, the excitement was truly in the air. You can only imagine how thrilled they were when they found the first samples. Things escalated when the team came across a dark piece of metal, covered in grime, looking as though it wasn't meant to be there. It stood out to the team, suggesting that something even more valuable might be nearby. Excited, the team couldn't help but feel they were close to something big. Maybe the chamber they had speculated about earlier, or even the long-rumored treasure itself. With renewed urgency, they hurriedly got back to work. The deeper they dug, the higher their chances of discovering the treasure they had spent more than a decade searching for. This is nothing we would add, so it's probably from the tunnel construction. Yeah, even more curious now. This eager digging soon led to the discovery of traces of silver and gold in the soil. Such a discovery fueled the Curse of Oak Island crew's determination even more. Their excitement nearly erupted when they hit something that seemed bigger and more pivotal to their search for gold. Although they had no idea what this large discovery was, they knew they had to dig it out. On that note, the team got to work with their digger, hoping desperately that they were on the verge of their big discovery. I don't know if that's rock or wood, but it's immovable right there. The air was thick with excitement, mixed with nervousness. They knew this could very well be their last dig of the season. Winter was coming, and although they were not members of House Stark or the Night's Watch, they knew this was significant, because it meant their search for treasure would soon be put on hold. It was as devastating as a White Walker attack. With the prospect of finding gold in mind, the team decided that the best approach was to dig to a depth of 100 to 150 feet before moving sideways. This way, they had every chance of coming across either the coveted treasure or at least a tunnel that could lead to it. They devised this plan based on promising water sample tests, which suggested that gold or silver was within reach. There is every reason to believe that down in those holes, something nearby contains a very large amount of silver. With such hope for success, they pressed on. But treasure hunting isn't easy. Year after year, the Lagina brothers and the Curse of Oak Island crew had faced setbacks and disappointments. Like many others before them, they had failed time and time again to walk away with the treasure. As winter drew closer, every heap of sand that failed to produce the prized treasure of Oak Island must have felt like a blow to the stomach, like being punched by the Incredible Hulk. Speaking of sand, these blows kept coming. The sand they dug up was constantly mixed with clay, and the absence of metal traces was discouraging. With every clump of clay, morale dropped further. Fortunately, the team knew they had to stay optimistic. This wasn't their first rodeo. They understood that disappointment was part of the game. As time went on, they managed to recover their morale. They deduced that the constant discovery of sand and clay could indicate an ancient system designed to guard something valuable. If that was the case, something could be down there, and that alone was enough to keep them digging. We are seeing some quantities of gold. It shows gold? Yeah, it's there. Gold is the outlier. Gold is a yes. With that realization, the team also had to start preparing for the end of their season. Winter was impossible to ignore now. They took inventory of their equipment and reviewed the progress they had made. Sure, their efforts hadn't paid off the way they had hoped, but that's the nature of treasure hunting. Every year, they left the island empty-handed, but they knew that success could come in a single moment. All it took was one discovery. The thrill of the hunt kept them coming back. There was very little that could stop the Lagina brothers and their crew from continuing their search for treasure year after year. This season, they had made significant progress, especially when they came across a man-made tunnel in the garden shaft leading to the ocean. They also discovered ancient artifacts, such as wooden beams with carvings and an old pickaxe. But while these discoveries were exciting, they weren't the treasure they had been searching for. Even so, they felt that each discovery brought them closer to uncovering the mysterious treasure of Oak Island. For now, it may seem like they must endure endless disappointments, but that's part of the journey. The Lagina brothers won't stop looking for the treasure they believe is buried on Oak Island. Who knows? Maybe next season, they will finally uncover the lost treasure they have been searching for all these years.